everyone, Amber from the Vault here. You are about to see my Oberland Station settlement walkthrough here, the new build that I did here at Oberland Station. But first what I wanted to show you was actually my first pass at it. So here's the deal. By the time you guys see a settlement build, you are likely seeing my second or third style that I went ahead and tried at a different settlement. I often build an entire settlement, decide I hate it, don't make a video of it, and then redo it and post something new. So I wanted to go ahead and show you what I was doing here at Oberland Station that I'm actually going to be deleting. And like I said, the reason I want to show this is because there's been a lot of times where people are like, hey, your settlements are kind of cool. And I'm like, yeah, but you know, I've rebuilt it 400 times. So that's why I wanted to go ahead and show it to you, just so you can kind of get an idea of, you know, the places that I start and then where I end up ending. So you're going to go ahead and see the ending here at Oberland Station. But my first idea here was, well, boxcars would be kind of fun because we're right along the railroad track. So the idea that they could have just pulled some boxcars off, stuck them over here, stuck them on, you know, platforms, something like that. That's a pretty cool idea. So I wanted to do something with boxcars. But the more I put the boxcars together, this took me, let's see, this took me about 4.5 hours to put together. Took me quite a while. That's why I always say that these builds take me a long time. So I can't do quite as many of them as I'd like to, even if I could save my game as much as I'd like to. But that's one of the reasons why, is because it does take me so long to do these different builds. This is actually Outplaced with Workshop Decorations pack, which is one of the reasons that this takes me a while. But again, it's just an opportunity for me to be able to show you guys what it looks like when I do a lot of these, you know, builds. I don't start off with the build I'm going to end with. So I thought this might be a kind of a cool opportunity to show you part of that process, but just part of how I change and how I do things. So in just a second here, you'll actually be seeing the regular Oberland Station. You'll go ahead and get to see the settlement build that I went with. This is one of the reasons I'm getting rid of the doors. They can't stop opening the doors backwards. One of the reasons I'm getting rid of it. But I wanted to show you kind of like the first pass at it. This is something I usually don't show everybody. You guys usually don't get to see the first builds or the second builds. Usually it takes me that third or fourth build before I finally show you what's going on at the different sites. So again, just a little bit of a peek into what I'm doing here in Fallout 4 and how my building process goes. So let's go ahead and check out the real brand new Oberland Station. All right, so here we are at the end of the Oberland Station rebuild. Now, guys, I went ahead and I kept the boxcar idea here. Again, I really like the idea of using the boxcar since we have trains and all that stuff, but I did go ahead and build some traditional buildings as well. Now, the first thing you're going to see here right off the bat is that I built these brand new types of guard towers. Now, I know that they aren't super special or super cool, and they don't have multiple levels like my normal scaffolding ones, but my idea with this one is going practical. This is a small settlement. There's only 19 people who live here. It's going to be a little bit more practical than a lot of my other settlements. Let's go ahead and let her leave. Now, one thing I've been thinking a lot about is how Fallout kind of leaves a lot of things to be desired. Now, these people are miserable. They're living out amongst the elements all the time. That sucks. Why do my guards always have to sit in areas without roofs? I decided to go ahead and give them a roof. I really like the way this turned out. It's got a little bit of a window here so that we can have the turrets there. Gives you the opportunity to shoot, but you're still covered by some type of structure here. I really thought this was kind of a fun way to build my guard towers. Now, this is pretty cool too. Went ahead and put down crates so that I can put my turrets on top of it. Just gives it a little bit more height, gets over that half wall, makes it really easy to use. So we'll go ahead and leave here. There are 2 more of these. There's 3 total. There's one at the end there you can see, and then there's also one way back there. Next thing we're going to go into is my weapons shop. Now, one of the things here at Oberland Station is there's not a lot of room, so I had to kind of put things anywhere I could find and kind of use as much of this area as I could. What I did, though, is I kept the railroad track itself clear. That way we could kind of use that as a throughway through the settlement. You do have to stop at the sandbags there, which are right next to the guard towers, which makes it a little bit of a checkpoint. That was kind of the idea I was going for. So you may notice that I used a lot of pieces here that give me the opportunity to have windows. You're going to see that a lot, especially as I get to the cafeteria and things like that. I really have been digging the idea of windows lately. That's something that Fallout 76 has that Fallout 4 does not, and it drives me a little nuts. I feel like it's obvious that we would figure out how to make glass in the apocalypse, and we would want to have windows still. A lot of workshop decorations pack in here. Also military clutter. That is a fantastic mod if you've never used it before. This is an invisible shop rug. You can see just barely peeking through the little crack there. That's what she is standing on top of. And then I put another rug on top so that I could go ahead and kind of disguise that. All right, so we're going to leave the weapons shop here. As we leave the weapons shop, the next thing we'll head to is our armor store. Now, as we come over to the armor store, this is a much smaller shop. You'll notice it's only basically a 2x2 footprint here. I like the idea of the smaller shops here because you can kind of place them along the railroad tracks. And I had plenty of room to do it with that invisible rug that's underneath this rug. And then workshop decorations pack in the back there for that shelf, as well as these shelves over here. And then I went ahead and put some mannequins in here. As you guys know, I like mannequins that have been raised up. I really enjoy having kind of those mannequins that have that elevation to them. I think it just makes them a little bit more interesting in the store windows. Let me turn off my light so it's not glaring quite as much here. Gives it a little bit. I wanted to add some extra lights to here. I did have some problems with the 0 kilobytes error, shutting me down here. So I wasn't able to add those lights in the windows, but if you've seen any of my other walkthroughs or any of my other settlement builds, you may be familiar with a lot of times I put lights on those. We're going to go ahead and continue down just real quick, take a peek at that guard station, and then we're going to go right past and go back here and into the cafeteria. So I always like to put some type of cafeteria or restaurant into all of my different places. A lot of workshop decorations pack in here again, just saves a lot of stress for that 0 kilobytes error when you're dealing with things on PS4. Another rug here, this one is not invisible. Those shop rugs are not, so I went ahead and put a rug on top of it so I could kind of control the look. This is Creation Club right here. Not something you actually need. One of the things that I try to do in all of my settlements is recreate things that, or I should say, place things that could be recreated with free mods as well as paid mods. I'm not a fan of Creation Club. You guys know how I feel about it. I will say there's some stuff on it that I think a lot of us wish that we could have here on PS4, and I think it's real crap that we can't get that stuff at a discounted rate because we're screwed on mods. But if you want to hear about that, that's another video for another day, and you guys can go look that one up. In the meantime, though, I will tell you I did place a little bit of my Creation Club stuff in here just because I'll actually explain it when we get in there. I have a bad habit of building and then realizing I forgot to put down a rug, and the Creation Club rugs go underneath everything you build, and it's amazing and it's wonderful, and it really saves me having to rebuild entire settlements sometime. I'll show you that as we go on here. Small clinic here. This is what that rug looks like. So this is what that shop rug looks like. This one I went ahead and left since it's the only one in here that you're actually going to see. I didn't go ahead and put a rug on top of that one. I wanted to kind of show you what that specific one looked like. Next shop we're going to head into is actually our clothing and our trader. We're going to go ahead and go in here. You may have noticed again, windows. Windows are a big part. Oh, hi McGreedy. A big part of all of this. This is a sofa bed here from Tonight You Sleep on the Couch or the Workaholic beds. Absolutely fantastic. Really make the difference in my settlements. A lot of my settlements I start with only like 6 beds that I can really place for aesthetic reasons, but then I can go ahead and stick those Workaholic couches in and they blend into the settlement and kind of give it a more homey feeling, but add beds to the settlement so I don't get the we're going to have to sleep in shifts message. Creation Club rugs. This is where I'm going to kind of point out, this is another one of those areas where I had placed all this stuff down, and then I went, oh crap, I got to put the rug down. Same thing over here, I got to put a rug down. So I went ahead and just kind of put them down. That's why I use the Creation Club rugs. If you try to do that with the non-Creation Club rugs for some reason, they won't just go under. It's really annoying actually. So here obviously you can see we have the clothing store, again doing the elevated mannequins. I just like the idea of the elevated mannequins. I think it gives it a little bit more of a cool presentation. Workshop decorations pack on the rack there. Really enjoy this. This is another one of those shop rugs. Went ahead and put a rug on top so it's kind of a little bit hidden. So we're going to come out. We've already been to the clinic, so we're going to go past that. And what we're going to go into is actually the boxcar pods for the residential areas. And this is where I was trying to figure out how to do those residential pods with the boxcars, and I was having a lot of trouble with them. The thing with boxcars in this game is you have to have 2 sides that open. So I didn't like the idea of doing individual boxcars because that would mean each boxcar had 2 doors. So instead what I decided to do was to build connected pods. So each one has a door on both sides that's going to open, but there's also this connecting door in the middle that opens. And the nice thing about this is when that connecting door that opens in the middle is closed, you don't have to worry necessarily about it not looking like a single bedroom, which again I'll point out 2 sofa beds in here. You don't have to make it not look like an individual bedroom, But at the same time, if there was, say, raiders that came to your camp or something like that, you're not exposed on two sides here unless they get into the other pod. So realistically, in the real world, we would chain off or we would block one of those doors or something like that if this was, a real life type of real simulator. It's not though, so I went ahead and put these side by side, and that was kind of my idea to help prevent them from having 2 points of entry. Basically being vulnerable on two sides. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and leave there. That is the first of our pods there. Again, all of those sofas are actually sofa beds. Here you're going to see this motorcycle. That's actually a scrapping item. We're going to go right into the middle now, right here in the middle of the settlement. This is where I have all of my farming. Now, I went ahead and put it inside of this, basically it's a fence, but it kind of looks almost like a farming cage, and I threw lights down there, so at night you can still see those lights are really, really helpful. It's nice to just have a little bit of light in here, lots and lots of farming in here. It was really, really one of the areas that I spent a lot of my farming on. A lot of my sites are all linked together, of course, but this is where a lot of my farming products were coming out for the other settlements that I had. So I had to make sure that I put a large amount of farming here, and this actually worked out pretty well. I believe USO is what unlocks all of those fencing options. This here looks like one of the guard towers. It's not. This is actually the crafting area. So we have armor, weapons, and chemistry. Chemistry is the sink here. I love the idea of having different looking benches, especially ones that are smaller like that. It drives me crazy how you're supposed to fit all of the crafting stuff into one settlement. Next one we're going to go to is our blue and orange little boxcar sections here. Again, these are residential. Real quick, I want to point out that this is at the very edge of the settlement. So I went ahead and threw some turrets around here. Just gives it a little bit more safety. Again, when I build settlements, I'm trying to build them what I would want it to be if I was somebody actually living in the wasteland. I want to give it that same idea and that same feeling. I put that chair way too close to the table. You'll see as we come up here. I had a problem with this not clipping to the side of the boxcar, so I do have a little bit of a floating stair-itis going on here. I apologize about that, but I did the best I could. It wouldn't clip for some reason, and I'm not sure why. See, I put those chairs just too close to the table there, so they automatically appear on top. Again, with sofa beds, and this is exactly what I'm talking about when I say that I had some issues with I had already placed things, and then I realized, oh, damn it, I forgot to put rugs in. That's where the the Creation Club rugs really come in handy. There's a lot of personalization that you guys are probably used to seeing me do in different settlement reviews and different walkthroughs and builds that just is lacking in these. And I understand that, and I know that that's probably, it makes them suck just a little bit more. And I really, really apologize about that. I'm having a lot of problems with the 0 kilobytes error, excuse me, I keep saying that, and I'm trying to do my best to build, with it, so I really apologize about that, but I'm trying to use a lot of workshop decorations pack, like the bookshelf there, to kind of give it that ability to still place things. Nothing was placed with OCD decorator in here. It's all workshop decorations pack and things like that. So definitely not, usually I do a lot more personalization in settlements. I really apologize that I wasn't able to do that with the error and the issues that I'm having with my game right now. I'm on my 6th or 7th reinstall of the entire game at this point, using a save before mods and everything, and it's just, for some reason, the PS4 version of this game is just a little bit broken, which is really unfortunate. So that's it. That is the entire Oberland station. It said it was a small one. This is definitely a smaller build than I would normally do. Hopefully you guys like the way the space is used. I tried to use the space as much as I could. I wish I could get an overhead shot of this for you. I tried to use the space as much as I could and to put as many items as I could in here. Usually I like to have a salon and all those other things. It just wasn't an option here. I'm sure there's a way to do it, but I would have had to make such small stores that they just wouldn't have been at all aesthetically pleasing. And I really like the idea of working in the boxcars. So let me know in the comments if you thought that the boxcars were kind of a cool addition, or if you thought that I shoehorned them in a little bit too much here. But thank you so much for being here. That is going to be it for this walkthrough. Thank you so much for being here. If you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It really does keep me going. It lets me know what kind of content you all are interested in. And as always, you can always comment here on YouTube, or you can check me out over on Twitter at AmberFrmThVault, spelt the same way as here, no O in from, no E in the. If you'd like to see more of my Fallout videos, you can go ahead and click on the Fallout playlist that should be popping up on your screen in just a second. Otherwise, there will also be a picture of my big dumb head. If you click that, that will subscribe to the channel. Click the bell icon if you would like to be notified every time I post a new video. Thank you so much. I will see you all in the next one.